I texted Larry and I was like, I have to get this out right now. I feel just urgency on this. It's like, I feel like right now, just a voice crying out in the wilderness that like, we need to know what God is doing, because we can get so distracted by what the enemy is doing right now. And I just need to tell you what the Lord is doing. And I just feel like right now, if you know people that have texted you this week, that have called you this week, and they said that they're struggling right now, and it's like out of the blue, please stop right now and share this video with them. It's really, really important that people hear what the Lord is saying. But anyway, this week, we have gotten so many messages from friends, from family members, from ministry partners, that this week specifically, the enemy has just like taken things up a notch. And so actually, I feel like there's some indicators for you. So if you felt like this week specifically, like all of a sudden you felt depression just come over you, and it's not like you are like standardly depressed, or this isn't something you regularly wrestle with, but all of a sudden out of the blue, you feel depressed. Or if you've been hearing all week, like you are alone, no one understands you. You are alone, no one understands you. Or another thing that's been coming up this week is if you feel overwhelmed by life, that means family, ministry, work. This week you feel overwhelmed. It feels like almost too much for you to handle, okay? These are all just flare-ups right now from the demonic. So right now, I can tell you, we've been praying, we've been fasting, we've been interceding, okay? We've been asking the Lord what he's doing. This summer, we are about to step into level 2 of what God's doing in regards to revival in America specifically, but across the nations. But last year, we saw just the first wave of this move of God. We saw thousands of people saved. We saw wildfires spreading throughout the nation of God moving. It wasn't just in Orange County. We see Arizona, we see Georgia, we see all throughout the nation, Washington, places being lit up with the gospel. Everyone's saying the harvest is happening right now. Tons of people are getting saved. The saints, you, the Christians, we're being revived, and we're starting to share the gospel. We're starting to be filled with the Holy Spirit. And right now we're seeing a flare up from the demonic. Okay, so this is not you. I need you to know this is not you. This is not, your life is not falling apart. Don't quit everything that you're doing right now. The enemy is freaking out. The Lord told me, and you need to hear this clearly. I'm going to get really intense right now, okay? The enemy is not creative. You need to understand that. The enemy is not creative. He is reactive, okay? So right now, the enemy can sense how the Lord is orchestrating people, missions, ministries, even opportunities in your life right now. There is a move of God happening this summer. We can feel it coming. It's starting to move and shift, and things are getting into alignment. It's almost like a chessboard. And, you know, God is saying right now, checkmate. And the enemy is freaking out. He has nowhere to go. He's being exposed. Everything this last year is just a shaking of everything that can be shaken. God is a consuming fire. And right now, there's more shaking that's going to happen. I know some of you thought 2020 was crazy. It's going to get a little bit crazier, but it's going to be good, because there is going to be a massive move of God. It's just right now starting to be released, but what we're about to enter into, America has never seen a move of God like this throughout history. We've talked to prophets, we've talked to revivalists, we talked to the Arnotts who led Toronto. They believe this move of God is unlike anything we've ever seen. And so if you, I need you to hear me clearly, if you have been feeling major attack out of like the norm, okay? I need you to hear this. Do not quit. Do not bow out. Do not get distracted. Do not get entangled by the ways that the enemy is trying to entangle you right now. We need to remember we are in a war. Right now, God is calling the generals out onto the war, and we are going to fight a massive fight right now, but we have the victory. And so because we have the victory, the enemy is freaking out. He is trying to take you out. So if you are feeling any of these symptoms, I wrote a whole chapter about this in my book, Wildfires. But if you're feeling these symptoms, the lie is a clue. The lie is an indicator of what the Lord is actually wanting you to do. So for you, if you're feeling depression rise up right now, that means that the Lord is wanting you right now to come against depression, and he wants you to speak out against depression in this next revival. If you're feeling loneliness, God's wanting you to be a part of other people that are ushering in this move of God. He's actually calling you. If you're feeling loneliness, the truth is you are not lonely. You're being called to be a part of this radical move of God. And if you're feeling just overwhelmed by life's circumstances, you need to ask the Lord right now, what is for you to pick up and what is for you to lay down? There is a major shift on your assignment. Your ministry, your life, your family life, your work may be changing right now, and God is calling you to lead revival. And all of us, it looks different. We all have different roles and callings and gifts. But if you're feeling these assignments against you specifically this week, okay, the enemy is trying frantically to take you out, you need to call a friend. You need to equip yourself. I need you right now to prioritize time in God's presence. Instead of spending 1 hour of prayer, I need you to spend 3 hours in prayer. We need to level up fasting right now. We need to be praying together as the saints. And right now, we have the comments open. I can see all of the comments right now. If this is you, I need you to say, this is me. And I'm going to go through the comments tomorrow, and I'm going to pray over every single one of you. But I'm just going to read the very beginning of Psalm 91. But if this is you, this is what you need to declare over yourself right now. Psalm 91 in the Passion Translation says, when you abide, so that's like living in, staying in, being under, when you abide under the shadow of Shaddai. And so one of the things about Shaddai that's so amazing is Shaddai is taken from the Hebrew root word with many expressive meanings. It can mean God of the mountain, God, the destroyer of enemies, God, the self-sufficient one, God, the nurturer of babies, okay? So right now we're going to see a major shift when it comes to abortion across the nation, and the enemy is going to frantically freak out. God, the Almighty, okay? So when you rest in the shadow of that God, okay, you are hidden in the strength of God Most High. He's the hope that holds me and the stronghold to shelter me, the only God for me and my great confidence. He will rescue you from every hidden trap of the enemy, and he will protect you from false accusation and any deadly curse. Okay, so some of you might be experiencing accusations, slander, attack, okay? If this is you, God says, come away right now. Prioritize his presence, prioritize time in the secret place, hide in his shelter right now. Do not defend yourself. If you defend yourself, you feed the enemy. Do not take the bait. Do not defend yourself. There are many of you that have been slandered. There are many of you, your whole ministries are coming under accusation. Do not defend yourself right now. Go low, bless your enemies right now, and hide under the shelter of the Almighty. And then the last thing is, it says, his massive arms are wrapped around you, protecting you. So the truth is, you are protected by God. You can run under his covering of majesty and hide. His arms of faithfulness are a shield, keeping you from harm. You will never worry about an attack of demonic forces at night, nor have to fear a spirit of darkness coming against you. Don't fear a thing. And you can keep reading Psalm 91 and read the whole thing over you. But I want to emphasize to you, I'm like the bringer of good news right now, the mass encourager, but do not fear.